Hey guys, look what came in last week. Now I know very little about this, so you're going to want to be sure to watch. Okay, more seriously, this is a PIAT, which stands for Projectile Infantry Anti-Tank. It was developed by the British, who were using the boys' anti-tank rifle. The reason they called it the boys' anti-tank rifle is the girls couldn't shoot it. Okay, totally made that up. This was developed by the British to replace the boys' anti-tank rifle. Now that's just a big rifle. We have sold them in the past and offered them. They're a pain to ship. They're extremely heavy. But that shot a 55 caliber bullet and was okay up to about an inch of armor. But the German tanks improved in World War II, and so they needed a replacement that could penetrate 3 to 4 inches of armor, and that's what the PIAT did. What made this so special was actually the round, and they tell me it's more like a mortar round than a rocket of any kind. This has a propellant charge. The launcher actually has what could best be described as a large firing pin, which sets off this propellant charge, causing the mortar or rocket to propel itself, and it's effective up to 100 yards. Some people are saying like 75 yards is pretty accurate. Some people say 110. Guess it depends on weather conditions, but this front part where it detonates against the metal is a shaped charge that goes into the metal and goes right through or melts the armor up to 3 to 4 inches. As the war went on, the Germans did build some defenses against this, and actually you see this even in Ukraine, where they put wire mesh over top so that it would detonate the charge and the shaped charge would go into empty space. They also put skirting along the sides of the tanks so that when it went through the initial skirting, it would dissipate the charge, making it less effective. But overall, this was a very effective weapon used against tanks and other emplacements during World War II by the British. Here's a close-up of this shaped charge. I guess this is considered a round or a lot like a mortar, but what I call firing pin, and you can see that right here, this giant rod is the pin that will go into the shaped charge and hits a propellant, which really is the thrust that gets it to go as far and as accurately as it does. This particular one has been neutered in that this has been welded in to keep you from, check this out, it won't go in, is the bottom line. Because normally you put it on here, and then when you fire it, this giant firing pin would hit the back of the propellant and push this forward. I thought this is what propelled it, but it actually doesn't. It's this hitting the propellant within the round. You can see that it has a front monopod. When this first came in, I really didn't know anything about it, but as soon as I saw it, I thought, I know I've seen this before, and I know it's British, and that's all I could figure out about it, but I watch a lot of war movies, and you have seen this a number of times in war movies being used against tanks. And generally, they say that anybody who uses this against a tank or armored vehicle, you have to have nerves of steel, because it's most effective within 50 yards. So you're standing there in the middle of the road while this tank is coming at you. You have to stand there, fire the weapon. And what gives this an advantage over the American bazooka is that when it does fire that charge, it also recoils the spring back to a set position. So you literally can feed one, shoot it, feed another. You don't have to cock it after each time. With the bazooka and other like anti-tank rifles and things like that, you have to recharge each time. This time it automatically recharges, can be loaded again. In fact, it is effective even up to 300 yards if you're not aiming straight at something. You can see in some of the training videos that they used it as a mortar. You pick it up like this and you just would lob it if you're going after let's say a building or a machine gun nest pretty far away. You could shoot it up in the air and it would go up to 300 yards and come down on top of the target. As we come down here, this is the trigger, by the way, and we are going to shoot it. There is a safety lever over here. I'm not going to show you because it really, I don't know how many pounds it is, but it feels like about 30 pounds. But you'll take my word for it. You can cock it, have it ready to go, put the safety on. You take the safety off, and actually if I hit it, There you go. You can see the safety. Take the safety off and fire it. We're going to cock it. It takes 200 pounds of pressure to cock this. This is the front sight and the rear sight. You can adjust for elevation and all that. And again, you go to training to learn how to use this, and this would help with some of the recoil, although it doesn't feel like it would help a whole lot. I'm a little scared to shoot this thing, and besides Randy, we only have one female here, so what the heck? We thought, let's have her try it out.
Forward.
So,
Now it's F to fire,
okay, now,
and then lean into it because it will push you back a bit.
Okay.
And that's the trigger.
this big thing.
Yep.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
It's not that bad. Oh!
So you can see it packs a pretty good kick just from the spring, but also imagine adding the propellant here, and so basically doubling the kick. It would be a pretty good jolt. Now, when I saw this, and again, I thought this is what pushed it out, I thought, well, what if we put a, say, like a rubber ball, tennis ball size object and shoot it? I'll bet we could shoot this the length of a football field. So let's test out my theory. Anticlimactic.
Total done.
Okay, so you can see how this really doesn't thrust anything. It just acts as a firing pin on this propellant, and that's what shoots this off. Now, I mentioned this has been in several movies, and that's what I recognize it from. I've seen it in several movies. One of my favorite, A Bridge Too Far, and I remember the British officer saying, "Bring up the PIAT."
Take cover! Bring up the PIAT over there. Look after that man.
Well, we had a lot of fun with this PIAT. You never know what's going to show up here at Legacy Collectibles. And if you like cool stuff like this, you're going to want to like and subscribe to our channel.